Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account and we're going to be looking at the two latest heroes that we've had addition, which of course one was the Light Bearer, which was the Dancers, and then the second one was the Greyborn hero Bronn. So overall, I know we did some videos on the Dancers and it seems like the effectiveness of these heroes are really being brought into question. We kind of built them out a little bit, got them all the way to Ascended, didn't get the chance to get the engraving, but it seems like they replaced Queen within a formation, and essentially that's where they were going to be used. Now, a lot of players that do have Queen built up a little bit or actually are utilizing Queen, it seems like it's not really making a big difference, where Queen is still having and keeping her place within the cursed realm, which is really cool to see. So not seeing the replacement in there. So when it comes to these heroes, Adrian and Elise, where are they really being used? Short of the Lightbearer Tower, we're not seeing them anywhere else. We started to see them a little bit within the Treasure Scramble. We're at rank 98 right now. But again, when you look at some of the formations, it just make a really big difference where you do have them built. And they're actually being used right here in the formation with Lucius. But when you look at Bronn, we are not seeing Bronn used, and I know it's relatively early for the hero, but we'll take a look at him at the first. But Jigo right here is running the hero within, and I'm not sure, it's right here on the bottom. You can see 0 damage, so that is pretty interesting. I'm assuming the hero is just coming literally straight out of the gate, and I hope this plays. Sometimes it doesn't. So straight out of the gate, and the hero right there just gets burned down because, of course, taking fatal damage, and it just goes right down to being dead. So unfortunately, 0 damage within a formation, which is kind of crazy to think. And again, it just being kind of crushed right out of the gate. Now I know the opposing team is pretty tough, running Rem in there, running Leica. But overall, if you put Queen in this formation, you'd probably have the exact same thing as Jigo did, where you might not see the effectiveness. Now, if they had the ability or could actually go in and, do the regular damage. Now, the question I had that I don't know the answer to is, if the hero dies with the plus 40 signature item, are we still going to have the buffs remaining in battle? Again, that is something that I do not know. If you know the answer, definitely let me know. But when you look at the plus 40 signature item, this applies to all of the allied heroes, which means that they're getting a really big damage increase. But again, it doesn't seem like it's having an effect within a bunch of different formations. And even going through the PvP and the Treasure Scramble, there's a lot of places where we're not seeing these heroes at all. So either a lot of the whales are choosing not to build them, or they're not finding them effective within all of those formations. Then, of course, we swap over to our Greyborn hero. Again, I'm building him out. Now, I love how his animated avatar looks, but overall, Bronn, we're trying to find a place with him. We haven't seen a lot of place. Now, of course, he's a buffer. He's a warrior, similar to what we have with Adrian and Elise. But overall, within the Greyborn Tower, of course, you could see a little bit of effectiveness out there. But when you start looking in different game modes, the effectiveness is really not there. Again, thinking of the Treasure Scramble, trying to get him from one side of the battlefield to the other is going to require probably a very, very specific formation to actually have him built to get the hero over there, which means if there is an immunity, if there's anyone who essentially stops him from moving, he could possibly get stuck and just kind of be in combat without having the ability to get to the other side to do damage. Now, of course, when it comes to the Nightmare Corridor, the Nightmare Corridor is about burst damage. Now, this hero, of course, is super, super slow to actually go on the other side, which means, again, you're not going to see the ability to actually get him and build him up quite a bit, or get him to really the maximum efficiency, because he's not going to have time to actually go and get to the enemy side by the time the battle is over. So a majority of the times that we see hero within the Nightmare Corridor, they're usually dead within probably the first 15 to 20 seconds on normal battles, which means him moving across the battlefield, he is not even going to get to the other side of the battlefield before the entire battlefield is over. Now, of course, Greyborn Tower, I could see some utility in there just because of the power creep factor that we have with the combat rating. But overall, again, it doesn't seem like we're going to have a ton of effectiveness. Now, overall, building out his gear in a bunch of different places, for me at this point of AFK Arena, I'm not finding any really reason not to build the gear. Why not to take him to tier 3? I'm even looking here. We have 38 chests right here. We have 37, well, the same ones. We have 48 right here. We also do have tier stones. We have tier 4 stones. So literally building them out a little bit higher if they have a little bit of utility. If we drop them into a couple different formations. And you can also see we have a ton of gear that gets to a point of AFK Arena where you're farming that you really don't have much to do with all of the gear. It literally is just stockpiling at this point until we get to the point of possibly seeing, and fingers crossed, one, a dimensional tower, and then two, having our tier 5 gear at some point, which we know it's coming, but unfortunately at this point we cannot build Bronn up any higher. Now, we have been farming out a bunch of different game modes. We've actually been farming out a lot of hero essence, trying to make a lot of progression. We can also do some summons in here, but we've gotten some chests, as you can see, just a multitude of chests. So what I've been doing as of lately, and I know a lot of players usually wonder this, is I've been building out and buying out a lot of essence so we can continue to level. So a lot of these chests that are not offering the red chest like this, I am actually getting essence out of there. And the reason being, when we start looking at bigger picture, when we start looking at all the engraving mats that I possess, just to get a hero like this one with our shards, we buy shards out of the shop every single day. We've been getting them out of here, but now I'm going to focus on essence so we can get a little bit higher. Now out of here, the twisted essence, I'm going to take versus the essence itself. But you know what? That's a pretty good deal right there. You know what? With the twisted essence, I'm going to go for essence. I want to get some more levels in here. I want to continue making some more progression. And I feel like campaign stages, it's getting a little bit more difficult to actually get through the content because we don't have the levels to support it. We're getting to 400 plus level deficiency, which is kind of crazy. So I definitely want to get some more essence. We'll throw some more levels on there as we continue to build up the Elder Tree. Now, in the Elder Tree itself, the only thing I have left to build at this point is the Tinking Tree. So it is kind of intuitive to really get there. Now, of course, we have been also building out Demia. You can see pretty strong, especially with our skill level 3 right here for the Captive Wings. But we've been doing some more engraving, got them up to a 67. And then, of course, in here, we've been building this out. Now, with 67, we're taking this to 68. And there we go. Or excuse me, to 38, not 68. 38 right here, which means at 38, we're using these. So between 39 and 40, we're using the epics. And then, of course, going from 30 to 31, we're using the epics. The rest of them, we are using the red chest. Now, of course, we did get the 2 new heroes. We got Bronn, do a plus 30 signature item through the swap. I also did get the twins, or Adrian and Elise. I still call them the twins because there's 2 of them. We got them up to 30 through the swap. So pretty cool. We have a couple days left on the swap itself. But looking at the events, the Treasure Vanguard is over. It says ends in 45 hours. However, when you go in here, the event is already completely over. And then, of course, I have been farming out the Temporal Rift, which is now getting to be incredibly easy when you start going through here. So I can run 20 floors. It works incredibly easy just based on the heroes we have built. We collect up our loot. We get a lot more resources, a lot more chests out of there, some more engraving mats. And then, of course, the award selection, we are still swapping all of these for our Temple of Time emblems. That way we can continue to build out the heroes that we're getting with the next Awakened hero. Now, of course, also in the horizon is going to be the 5th anniversary of AFK Arena, which we know, again, is coming up fairly soon. So we're getting ready for that and getting kind of prepped. But like we were talking with Bronn and also looking at the twins, like I was saying a little bit earlier, when you start looking at some of the top tiered teams, they're now using Queen in the formation where, of course, some heroes are still using right there is the copy of Adrian and Elise, but overall not seeing as much damage or not seeing really the top tier teams that are using Queen. And I went through a lot of these earlier, and a lot of them are still running Queen. And even there, it's more of a basic build on Queen, where again, it doesn't really seem like we're having quite the impact that we thought they would have with that much higher level plus 40 signature item. And of course, that is a very, very high investment. When you start looking at the heroes and really the very small niche amount of heroes that we have to the plus 40, it has actually gotten to the point where it's incredibly difficult to build them out in any capacity because you're only getting a super limited amount of chests, which are unfortunate. Even the Voyage gives us 10 right now. Even looking at the bounty board, we get another 12. But really, that's it. I mean, especially when this event goes away with the 400% increase for these chests, it's going to be near impossible to get them, similar to what we're seeing right now in the Ghoulish Gallery. So I did let my card expire. So the perk card has been kind of expired, meaning that we're not getting, because I'm not buying them out of the shop either, we're not getting any arcane staffs, which kind of sucks. But overall, there's going to be a point where we're probably going to have to start buying them on a regular basis because we're kind of stuck when it comes to this game mode. And I know a lot of players still do hate this collections. But overall, once you build out a lot of the collections, you can get to a point. I think even now we've used 50 or 60. We're already at 60 right now. But even looking here, we've just been kind of stockpiling totems, waiting to see exactly who's coming down the pipeline, exactly who we're going to have to use, and what custom bizarre totems we are going to use in the future. So pretty cool to get into and see how far we've pushed progression. But again, it feels like we're at the point where we need to gain more levels so we can actually make some more progression in AFK Arena. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.